We continue now at the top of Daf Tzadi Gimel Amud Aleph in Mesechet Yevamos. This is Yevamos Daf 93a. The Gemara is now bringing a Mishnah to show that Rabbi Akiva holds Adam Makna Dover Shelo Bali Olam. The Mishnah says Konem Shani Osa Leficha Ein Sarich Lahafer. Rashi over here says Konem Shani Osa Leficha Isha Sha'amar Levala. This is a woman who says to her husband, Ma Shani Osa Malacha Yehi Aser Leficha Bekonem. Anything that I do work-wise, that's going to be Aser to you. I'm making an oath, a Konem, that it's Aser to you. So the halach is Einot Sarich Lahafer. The husband doesn't need to annul that vow. Because she's already meshubed to him, meaning her ma'aseh yadayim already goes to her husband. So lo matzeh nadra, she can't make such a neder. Rabbi Akiva says, Yofer, no, he doesn't annul such a vow. Why? Shematadif olav yoser min haroilo, because maybe she's actually going to produce more than really what goes to him. If she produces in excess, that actually does go to her, and then the konem, the neder, actually would take effect. So for that part of it, he can annul that part of the vow. As Rashi over here says, Shematadif olav ditnan, we learned in a Mishnah, Mahi osalo mishkal heisloim shtei v'chulu. It says the amount that she produces for him. Utvelo meshavdele, she's not meshubet him more than that. The extra part is not meshubet him. So therefore, on that extra part, let's say she works again, the ma'aseh yadayim are beyond what goes to the husband, so the neder is chal on that. Now the point over here is, even though the malacha still hasn't been done, it's a davar shelo bali olam, but the neder can be chal, and that shows that Rabbi Akiva holds that adam makna davar shelo bali olam. And the Gemara continues, Ha'itmar Allah, no, but wasn't it said on that Mishnah, Amar Rav Huna B'rei Rav Yoshua, Rav Huna B'rei Rav Yoshua said, Ba'omeres yikteshu yodai la'osehem. The case actually is where she's saying that my hands should be sanctified for that which they produce. In other words, the yodayim isnu bi'alma, her hands, those are in the world. So it could be that's not a proof, because it could very well be that's considered a davar shaboli olam that is in the world, because her hands are in fact in the world. And the Gemara continues, Upliga de Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, and this argues on what Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak says. Rashi over here says, Upliga de Rav Nachman hadu kimna de Rabbi Akiva ein adam makna davar shelo bali olam. That which we just said, that according to Rabbi Akiva, a person is not allowed to be makna something that's not in the world, that argues with Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak's opinion within Rabbi Akiva. The Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, because Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak said, Rav Huna kerav, v'rav keRabbi Yanai, v'Rabbi Yanai keRabbi Chia, v'Rabbi Chia keRabbi, v'Rabbi keRabbi Meir, v'Rabbi Meir keRabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, v'Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov keRabbi Akiva. All of these people, they hold like each other. In other words, Rav Huna holds like Rav, etc. Rav holds like Rabbi Yanai like Rabbi Chia like Rabbi like Rabbi Meir like Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov like Rabbi Akiva, and they all say the same thing. Tiamar, who says, Adam makna davar shelo bali olam, a person could be makna something that is not in the world. Rashi over here says, Rav Huna karav kilomar me Rav shehu Rabbi Kibla. In other words, he accepted it from Rav, who was his Rebbe. It started off with Rav Huna. Rav Huna was like Rav. Each one is from his Rebbe. V'Rav me Rabbi Yanai v'chein kulam Rav got it from Rabbi Yanai, etc. Zel lemala midora shel zehaya. When we were quoting here this order, it was going back one generation back, etc. This is generation after generation. They all hold of what Rabbi Akiva says, that Adam makna davar shelo bali olam. And the Gemara continues, Rav Huna maihi. What is Rav Huna? Where does Rav Huna say Adam makna davar shelo bali olam? The Itmar, because it was learned as follows: Hamocher peiros dekel lechaveru. Let's say somebody sells the fruits of the dekel tree to his friend. Amar Rav Huna says, Ad shelo bali olam, until before they come into the world, before those fruits come into existence, yachol lachzor bo, he's able to retract. Misha bali olam, but once they come into existence, ein yachol lachzor bo, so at that point in time, he cannot retract. But Rav Nachman Amar, and Rav Nachman says, no, af misha bali olam, even when the fruits come into existence, yachol lachzor bo, even in that particular situation, he is able to retract. Rashi over here says, Hamocher peiros dekel bimos hageshamim. This is the rainy season. The fruits are not here yet. So again, ad shelo bo liolam, before they come into existence. In bo lachzor bo kodem Nisan, if he wants to retract on that which he sold before Nisan, she'az heilanos motzi, and that's the time when the trees bring out their fruits, yachol lachzor bo, so then he's allowed to retract. Misha bo liolam ein yachol lachzor bo, but once it comes to the world, he cannot. Techiyasu chayil zavini. The point is that according to what Rav Huna is saying over here, when they come into the world, then the sale takes effect. Alma da makna davar shelo bo liolam. You see exactly this idea that according to Rav Huna, the kinyan works on something that is not ba'olam. And Rav Nachman, on the other hand, says the kinyan is not good, and even when they come into the world, the person can retract. However, the Gemara continues and says, Amar Rav Nachman says, Modina, I admit, The shamit v'yachal, that if the buyer goes and he quickly takes those fruits for himself and he consumes them, lo mafkina minei, then we don't take it away from him, we don't ask him for the money back, because at that point in time, even though it was a faulty kinyan, but once he takes it, he doesn't have to pay back. And the Gemara continues, Rav, where do we see that Rav says, Adam machna davar shelo bo la'olam, d'yamar Rav Huna amar Rav, because Rav Huna said in the name of Rav, Ha'omer l'chaveiro, a person says to his friend, Soda zu shani lokeach, this field that I am purchasing, l'keshekochena kanu yoloch me'achshav, so when I purchase it, it's going to be acquired to you from now. So kana, that actually works. So again, what do you see according to this? You see according to Rav that a person is able to be makna davar shelo bo la'olam. Rashi over here says, Ha'omer l'chaveiro kodem shekones hasada, before he even acquires the field, he says this, kana v'havim matana, that's a good matana, alma me Rav shmiela, you see again that he heard from Rav this very idea that adam makna davar shelo bo la'olam. And the Gemara continues, Rabbi Yanai ki Rabbi Chia, Rabbi Yanai he holds like Rabbi Chia, again this idea of adam makna davar shelo bo la'olam. The Rabbi Yanai havale arisa, because Rabbi Yanai had a sharecropper, that have a maisi like kinsa depiri kol male Shabbos, he used to bring him a basket of fruit every Erev Shabbos. Hahu yoma nagale, there was one time, one Erev Shabbos, where he was delayed in bringing the fruit, v'loasa, he didn't come. So shakal eser mipire de beisei alayu. So what he did was, he took meiser from the fruits of his house, because he thought maybe right before Shabbos, the sharecropper is going to arrive with the fruit. He's not going to have enough time to take off the proper meiser before Shabbos, and there's a problem taking off meiser on Shabbos, so he took it off. He took off the meiser ahead of time from the fruit that he had in his house. So also l'kamei de Reb Chia, then he came before Reb Chia, he wasn't sure if what he did was correct, because he didn't have the fruits yet, it was a davar shelo bo la'olam, and he's already taking off meiser in anticipation of getting the fruit. So Amar Lei, so he said to him, Shapir Avarat, what you did was correct. The Tanyas we learned in a Brayso, Leman Tilmad Liyiras Hashem Elokecha Kol Hayomim, it talks about to fear Hashem all of the days. Rashi over here says, first, Alayhu, V'yaf Agav Dakati Loasu, again, the fruits hadn't arrived yet, and he took it off. And the Pasuk says, Leman Tilmad Gabe Truma Meiser Ksiv Yachalta Lefnei Hashem V'gomer. It says by Truma and Meiser, that's what it's talking about. It says you have to learn to fear God, Kol Hayomim, and we understand from that what's Kol Hayomim, Elu Shabbos V'yomim Tovim. This refers even to Shabbos and Yontiv. And as Rashi over here says, Kol Hayomim Elu Yontiv V'Shabbos Have Elomet Lehizor Shalo Yevatel Onik Shabbos B'Shvil Tikun HaTevel. It means to tell you, it's saying you have to be careful not to be Mevatel Onik Shabbos because of the issue that you have to fix the Tevel. In other words, make sure everything is, you took off Meiser properly so that you'll be able to celebrate properly with properly in terms of having the right food, the Onik Shabbos. And so now, what exactly is this pasuk talking about? Lamai Hilchasa. What is this pasuk referring to? Rashi over here says, Lamai Hilchasa Ma Asa Kral Azure. What exactly, what case is the pasuk warning us about? If the pasuk is talking about taking off meiser and eating, Rashi over here says, maybe we're talking about taking off meiser on Shabbos, meaning, and maybe the pasuk means, the afagav the Shabbos, who that even though it's Shabbos, you're allowed to take off meiser on Shabbos. Maybe the pasuk is telling us exactly this, that on Shabbos there's no problem to take off meiser, tilmad liyiras Hashem Elokecha, be careful not to be mevatel onek Shabbos because of fixing tevel. You should fix the tevel even on Shabbos. But there's a problem with that, because that's pshita, that's too obvious. This is only an issue to Rabbanan. The issue of taking off meiser on Shabbos is not a doraisa, so you wouldn't need a pasuk to tell you that it's permitted. It's permitted at a doraisa level. Hafrashas meisers b'Shabbos ein ela mishum shavus. It's only a Rabbanan. The Tanan Elohim mishum shavus lo magbi and shumos so meisers b'Meseches beitza. V'hei chaser lamkra tiltal bi'almad. It's darach lemishra hacha. Why would the pasuk go over here and permit something which is permitted all along? That's what the Gemara says. If the pasuk means to tell you to take off meiser and eat on Shabbos, it's Rich Krala, Mishri Tiltal D'Rabbanan. A pasuk needs to come along to permit Tiltal D'Rabbanan. This is only an Isser D'Rabbanan. What do we need a pasuk for? And we'll continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Tzadi Gimel Amid Beis.